Alright guys, in this video what I want to do is go over the balance scorecard and kind of what to look for, what it is, and hopefully you understand better how to keep up with where your team's being ranked, and when we get to the competition rounds you know what your score is going to be by that ranking. Alright, so when you first come into Blackboard, the balance scorecard is under course documents. Now the reason you got to come here because when we go to CAPSIM, you only can see your team's balance scorecard. You can't see everybody else's. So I put it here. So I'm just going to pick one. This may not be your industry, so it doesn't matter. They're all set up the same. And then you can just open up Excel. And I'm going to have it listed here by rounds. And so each round you can see how you progress. And I'm going to go over this in more detail in CAPSIM, but I just wanted to see it here. If I'm copying several balance scorecards, so if you see an error where your score is different than the one in the CAPSIM, make sure first that you're in the correct round tab, and then two, contact me because there's a good chance I made a mistake in copying over the balance scorecard out of CAPSIM into an Excel spreadsheet. So just let me know that. All right. The total score here is how you're being ranked. Right, whatever that score, and your score is made up of round-to-round scores. As you can see here, we've done practice round 1, and so you got a practice round score, and then you get a recap score. And again, I'm going to go into CAPSIM to go over that. So, but look at this total column. That is how you're being ranked, that total score. And that total score is going to be all these added together. So as we do round 2, you'll get another score, and that's added to the recap. So there'll be 3 scores added together, and that gives you the total. All right. Now, if it's a little bit different, like this 80 and 46 is 126, and your totals are 125. When we get in balance scorecard, you're going to see there's actually decimals, and so it rounded the 45 something. And then it rounded the 79 something, but when it adds up to 125 it doesn't round, and so therefore you got just a rounding error there. Not error, but a rounding differences on that. Alright, so let's go to the balance scorecard. Going to CAPSIM. When you first come into CAPSIM, now this may not be your balance scorecard, but they're all going to be set up the same and they're going to look the same. So this is just one of the team's balance scorecards, and it may not even be from this semester. Okay, so what we're going to do is you go under reports, you go to your debrief reports. Here you're going to have a bunch of items that you can look to help you understand what went on in the round and what went right and what went wrong for my company. But for this video, what we're going to do is just talk about balance scorecard because that's how your team's being ranked. Alright, it looks very similar to what was in the spreadsheet. And the only difference is that you only see your team. Now you're going to notice when you're in here, these scores has got a link to them. This link is where you're going to go to analyze why did I get a 42. Right? And then when you start seeing these scores, then you can start estimating what other teams are getting. There's, what areas are they doing well in and what they're not in, and on those. So let's just open it up. And each one of these has got different measurements. Round to round is going to be more isolated. How did I do just specifically for this round? So it's going to be measurements. So it's really only measuring that round. And recap is going to be measuring more long-term measurements. And we're going to see that. So this score will grow as your company grows and gets better and things. This score can go up and down. So like if we had we did a lot of investing, we didn't have really good profits one round, then your score may take a 1 round dip, but then due to all that investing it shoots back up. This score right here won't fluctuate as much. Hopefully it'll be gradually increasing as your company grows and improves. Alright, so for round 1 you click on it. Now here is, and if you've gone through the pro forma balance scorecard, then you're going to recognize these measurements. Now this is the actual results. The pro forma, if you're getting different numbers from your pro forma is based on your forecast. So if your forecast was right, perfect, then your pro forma will match this. But we cannot predict the future perfectly. So therefore, it's going to be a little bit different, but hopefully your forecast was close so that you could do well. So that the numbers look about the same, you can plan on that. What we want to look at is here we have our totals here. So for our stock price, we could have got 8 points, and we got 5.9. Now, some of these scores you're not going to get perfect on. You're never going to get perfect on. It's all relative. I've got to see, is 5.9 good for other teams or not? Yeah, my max is 8, but where did I stand with everything else? Well, how do I know what this number should be? All right, and this is going to help you with your inputs. If you know what the number should be in the balance scorecard, then you kind of get an idea of what we got to strive to, what kind of goals we got to get to higher scores. And so on a stock price, we just click on it. It will do a very brief explanation, and most of these are all just general financial management terms. So if you don't understand them, just Google it, and you'll get an answer on more explanation of this, or let me know. Now, what we get here is it's going to be a chart. Okay, if we're below point A, all right, then we get 0 points. Okay, and that means that your stock price was less than $1, less than or equal to actually $1. All right, if you're somewhere between $1 to $18, then we're somewhere along this line. And so if we got 5.9 as a team on this one I'm doing, and the max is 8, so that probably means our stock price is probably right in here. It's getting close to 18. And now I can go to my fast track report and see exactly what it is. And then if you're greater than 18, then you're in this green, and you're going to get full credit, which is 8 points. Alright? So that's how you work it. That's how you analyze your points. And then what you need to do is go back to the other teams, look at the fast track report, see what the other one's stock price was, and if mine's one of the highest, then I got 5.9 and nobody else did. If I'm the lowest, then everybody else got more than me in 5.9. So 5.9 can be either good or bad relative to what the other teams are doing. All right? And you can do this for each one of them. Now we only got 1.5 for profits. So we come in here in profits, it'll tell us what it is. Alright, if that's not enough explanation, then look it up or give me a call, let me know. And basically what we've got here again is to get any points we got to get 1 million to 7 million. And so if we're at 1.5, we're probably right in here. Alright, what am I talking about? How relative to other teams and where I see that? Well, this is not going to be a fast track video, but I do want to go to, and I'll come back to this, but I do want to go to the fast track report real quick and show you what I mean by relative. Okay, we got 1.5 points for profit. We're going to pull this up for round 1, and we're going to see here, if we look at everybody's profits, and I was looking at Andrew's, I'm sitting at 1.9. All right, we got one that's 3.7. Okay, that's the computer team, and they do count in the rankings. And then you got 2, 1.7 to 900. So as a team Andrews, I'm ranked 4th as far as profits, but really 200,000 here, less than 100,000 here, that I'm from from second and third. So their scores are really going to be right on top of mine. So my profits is, do I need to get it up? Yes. But is that the reason that I may have finished where I finished? Probably not, because compared to these other teams, that score is pretty close to being the same. All right, and so that's what you've got to do. You've got to take the time to do this. Now in the practice rounds, the turnaround is a little bit quicker because we're trying to get in enough practice rounds to give you some practice. But and it doesn't count for a grade. So if you miss an analysis here or there, or don't get as detailed as you would like, then that's okay. In the competition rounds, you get a week between decisions, so you got some more time to do this analysis. Now in the recap is more long-term stuff. All right, or market capitalization. Market capitalization, again, if you're not sure what it is your company stock value. You take the number of shares out times the price. And that's going to give you kind of the value of the owner's share of the company. Not on a market basis, not on a balance sheet basis. And so, that's an important measurement if you're running a company that's publicly traded. That's an important measurement that's usually looked in the financial market. And so you want to look here at where we need to be. Well, to get full credit, then you need to be that market capitalization. And this is as a portion of the entire industry. So what's happening is we're taking the shares times the stock price for each company. So we've got 6 companies, 1, 2, 3, and so forth. All right. We get the market cap here, and we do that for each company, and then we sum them up. And then we take that sum, and then we take Andrew's market cap and divide it by the total sum of all market caps. And that's got to be greater than 30% to get full credit. If all the companies are really, really good and everybody's doing a good job and stock prices are going up, or we're all just really average and we're all right there together, then this may not ever get to 30%. It depends on the industry. If you start dominating the market, then this is going to be easy to get. Again, you will want to look at where the other teams stand as far as their market cap. And you don't have to do all the sum and the proportion, all that. If their market cap is higher than yours, then they're getting more points. If their market cap's less than yours, then they're getting less points. If y'all are close, then it's pretty much kind of the same. All right. Again, these are going to grow, hopefully, as your company grows. The other ones are going to be round to round. What profits you make from that round it has something to do with the previous round, but your score is basically reset. This one is like operating profits. Operating profits is going to be accumulative profits. And so you've got to get your company, you've got to grow those to get full credit. You've got to grow those to $120 million by the time we get to round 8. Now, you will never do that in a practice round. We only got 5 rounds, or 6, depending on the semester and how the schedule is working out. But we've only got 100. You're not going to get there in the practice rounds. We just don't do the full rounds. But that should be your goal as a company when we get to the competition round, is to get to that 120 million. And so you got the customer learning and growth. You got different areas that your company needs to focus on. Now, with that said, I get a lot of teams that starts getting focused in on, employee turnover rate, 7 points. We've got to get that improved. We're in 5th place. We got to improve this employee turnover rate. All right. All the while, their profits is lousy. That's not very good. And so therefore, employee turnover rate's not going to do anything for you, because most of these items are driven from profit. If you're doing good at profit, okay, because you got to remember, you got to keep the big picture in mind when you're doing this simulation. So you got to remember, all right, profit is our sales, our revenue, which is the same thing, minus our expenses. So, if we're making a good profit, then that must mean that this is good and this is good. Okay? And if those two are good, that means that our contribution margin is good. That means that if our sales are good, that means that our customer scores, meeting the customer buying criteria, awareness, or accessibility is good. If our expenses is good, that means our SG&A is good. If our expenses are good, that means that we're not carrying a lot of inventory cost. All these things, and then if we get really good profits, guess what's going to happen to stock price? It's going to go up. So most of these things are driven by making a good profit, which means making a good sales. This I changed colors and it got me. But your focus in this simulation should be growing your sales. Do I pay attention to expenses? Yes. But I don't sacrifice expenses and limit my sales. Remember, you got to spend money to make money. Alright, so hopefully this helps you on the balance scorecard to go through. Don't get so caught up in the balance scorecard that they'll say and you get lost, you miss the forest because of the trees. You can get in such the details here that you miss the big picture and forget that your company's way behind on sales because your product's not very good. Alright, and the product, how good it is relative to the other teams. If everybody's got average product and you got one that's just a little bit above average, then yours is going to look good on the market. But if everybody's got really good products and you got above average product, then your product's going to look lousy. So you got to keep those in mind. Keep sales in mind. And what drives those sales? Your customer survey score. All right, let me know if you got any questions, and hopefully this helps.